At least 1 million Americans had their social security data leaked. National Public Data, which is just a ridiculous name for a company anyway. It just sounds like they already got breached from the onset. Is it even newsworthy that like our social security numbers have leaked?
It's pretty much policy now to just have your social security and your credit locked.
All three are locked.
Perma-freeze, baby.
Not myself. I use a service, but yeah.
On that note, actually, a lot of people don't consider when you're locking your own down is if you've got kids, lock theirs down.
My hospital where my son was born was compromised during his birth. It was literally because the social security number also goes to the hospital. It was stolen before I got it.
Wow.
And not an exaggeration. Like, holy crap, that is efficiency.
Of all people, that's so ironic that it happened to you. They're like, come on. You should have been like, you should hire Red Siege for a pen test next time, guys.
Ransomware hub group deploys ZDR Killer, right? It's just like bring your own vulnerable driver vulnerability where they just bring it in and then shut down the EDR.
Yeah. Is this technique known? Yes. But at the same time, making it available to everyone and making it cheap means that it's could have a huge impact.
The main fix for this was to make sure that users don't have the rights to install drivers.
T-Mobile has been breached multiple times in multiple ways, but now they have to roll out this $60 million.
They make $3 billion with a B profit per year. 60 million off of that? What do you friggin' do?
They won't even notice.
T-Mobile isn't based in the US, or they aren't owned in the US. They're owned by Deutsche Telekom, a German company. Europe has way less chill with this kind of thing. They're going to get hit hard in Europe, but I mean, Tim's point is accurate, which is this is just the cost of doing business. You can be insecure. It only costs you $60 million a year. Massive cyber attack on AWS cloud environment with 230 million unique targets. Basically, this is Unit 42, which is Palo Alto Networks, has kind of disclosed to the public a campaign that is doing extortion of cloud data. They're also using compromised credentials to do the actual scanning and attacks. Victims get a message that basically says, hello, your S3 buckets have been exfiltrated to our bad guy server. Now you need to pay us or else we're going to release it.
You're not supposed to put the ENV file in the repository.
Kip says, do you pay the cloud provider data exfil on top of the ransom?
Yes, you do.
The Department of Homeland Security, who we know and we trust, they definitely aren't sketchy at all. They are trying to use facial recognition to track the identities of migrant children down to the infant, which is a quote, and then kind of see as they age. They're looking into this. This is a Prism level, Snowden level type of thing. Like after they published this, they said, oh no, we don't have plans to do this. But it's kind of like the Prism thing where it's like, well, Snowden said you guys were doing this and you had a PowerPoint that you built about it. And now you're claiming that, no, you're totally doing not that. Who do we believe?
Stuff like facial recognition is generally very under-regulated in the United States to begin with. Like there isn't actually a lot of law in the books regulating either private or governmental usage of it. And so even as a citizen, you don't actually have much protecting you on that front.
So you definitely don't have rights as a, potential citizen. 6 ransomware gangs are behind over 50% of the attacks this year.
No one can arrest these people. Like they're just unstoppable.
Because they're allowed to do it. They're sanctioned in some level or by their governments. You have to assume that they're sanctioned by like their own governments, that they permit it or at least condone it, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you got to assume Russia, just given the geopolitics of the world right now, like Russia could use some Bitcoin right now.
North Korea too.
North Korea, yeah, totally.
I mean, well, North Korea, it's a primary source of income.
JP Morgan is the name of a ransomware criminal.
Oh, that is great. That's such a good idea.
The U.S. has charged a Belarusian cyber criminal who started doing crime back in 2011. They took 9 years to sort of track them down, and eventually they got arrested last year in Spain. Like, the law enforcement people, they have unlimited budgets. If you're bad enough, they're going to come after you for 10 years or 20 years. For international cybercrime like this, you're going to get got eventually. If you just read the headline, it's like, okay, so JP Morgan's been charged with ransomware? What? I mean, JP Morgan, that's like, isn't that like a, we're talking like 18th or 19th century, right? Like that's old school. I don't think he knew much about ransomware.
No, he did. Just was different back then.
It was called banking and it was damn good business.
Join us for live InfoSec news every Monday at 4:30 p.m. Eastern Time on the Black Hills InfoSec YouTube channel.